animal.
Even if she's a female?
Provided, the female can slaughter, yes, they can slaughter, provided that, but the act of slaughtering animal is a very complicated process, and it is therefore subjected to rigorous, how do you call it, not only tests, regulation by Islam. There are conditions to be met. That the person who slaughter must be a Muslim, for instance, or must belong to the people of the book, for instance, and the person who slaughter must be mature or at least reach the age of adolescence. And when he or she slaughters, he must make sure that the throat and the two main veins,
the aorta and the arteries,
yes, they are all cut completely before the animal dies, and so on and so forth. So if the slaughtering is done properly, because slaughter is a very complicated process, and sometimes you see somebody holding a knife, slaughtering an animal. But what he did eventually would be that kill, not slaughtering. And there's a difference between slaughtering an animal and killing an animal. So if the animal is not properly slaughtered, if the process is wrong, if you don't follow the proper process, even though the animal died, you end up killing an animal, which will be a haram meat, because the slaughtering is not done properly. But so if the person who does the slaughtering, who owns the ram, understand the process and can do it well, it's preferable that he or she do it by himself.
Okay, now
but if you cannot do it yourself, if you cannot do the slaughtering, you better ask the people who know very well to do the slaughtering for you.
Now you teach us, how do you do the slaughtering?
Well, I have mentioned some of the important rules concerning slaughtering. First of all, place the animal, let the animal face the Qibla, get a very sharp instrument, whether it is a knife, or cutlass, or whatever, or sword, or whatever. Let it be short, let it be very sharp. Put it on the throat somewhere, not necessarily close to the mouth, but not very far from the mouth. Say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, and slaughter, and make sure that you don't lift your hand.
You should not just do it and
then lift the hand. No, if you lift the hand, and for a period, if this interim period is a little bit long, you might end up killing, not slaughtering the animal, and therefore it becomes a haram meat. So don't lift the hand until you make sure that the throat is cut and the two main veins also are completely cut. Then you can lift the hand, even though the animal will be, how do you call it, displaying or, because of the pain. But you have, and then second, like again, as I'm saying, you must be, the person must intend to make the meat halal, eatable, understand? In fact, the essence of slaughtering is to make the meat halal, edible, halal. Okay. So the intention therefore must be to make the meat halal. The intention should not be only to kill.
Okay. Is it also required to break the neck? Because you see some people, they will do all this thing you said.
Yeah.
And end up
until they cut off everything.
No, so we end up breaking the neck of the animal.
Yes. No, that is not necessary. Maybe why they do that, probably to hasten the process of dying by the animal, but it's not necessary.
Okay.
Yeah, it is important that these three organs are cut completely, and that is why it is prohibited for Muslim. And again, when you slaughter from the front side.
Don't from the back.
No, it will be haram too. Okay. From the front side. Don't lift your hand. Make sure that you do it properly. Okay. So if you do it properly, if you can do it properly, it is preferable that you slaughter your own animal for yourself.
It doesn't matter whether you are left-handed or right-handed?
No,
okay.
It doesn't matter.
Someone asked me that question some time ago.
No.
Okay, now Ustaz, we should slaughter a ram. If you don't have a ram, what do you slaughter?
Yeah, if you don't have a ram,
the order of preference.
The order of preference is ram, and among the category of ram, they prefer the male, the female, and if you don't have that, you can move to the category. You have goat.
But you have the castrated also.
Oh, first, sorry. In fact, the non-castrated male, the castrated male, and the female.
Okay.
You understand? And then from that category, you move to the goat category. Similarly, the non-castrated male, the castrated one, and the female. Then from there, you move down to cow. From cow, you move down to camel.
That's the order.
Now here, the message that you get here is that the emphasis here is not the quantity of the meat, but the quality of the meat. And if you look at these four categories of animals, ram has the best quality. and therefore the emphasis here is the quality, not the quantity of the meat.
Okay.
At least for this act of ibadah, the quality is what matters, and therefore they will go for ram first, then goat, cow, and then camel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what?
Well, let me tell my cousins in the Jaras that they should not slaughter hens. It's not part of it.
Oh, hens, huh?
Yes, yes. No, it's not part of it.
Someone said that here.
If they cannot afford it, well, unless they do it to enjoy themselves, but it's not Tubaski.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Usas, the categories of ram, the conditions and their states,
yes,
matters also.
That is also very important.
Okay. Now, can you divulge on that?
Yes. You are told that the limbs, the organs must be largely intact. The eyes must be okay. If one-eyed is not allowed, will not be accepted. You understand? And if it's completely blind, of course, it will not be accepted. If it is terribly sick, badly sick, that you just look, when you look at this, this is terribly sick.
Or even not too thin.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. If it is too thin, that there is, you don't even seem to see flesh, it's also not allowed. Or if it is badly limping, and the one which is badly limping is the one that cannot pull together with the rest of the heads. Normally when it walks behind. So if it is badly limping, if it is too thin, if it is terribly sick, if it is one-eyed, it's not allowed.
Breaking horn?
Breaking horn, provided that it's not bleeding. If it's not bleeding, fine. But if it's bleeding, it will not be allowed.
Cutted tail?
Yeah, cutted tail unless the more than half of the tail is cut. If more than half of the tail is not cut, if like part of it, like one part of it, less than one part is cut, it will still be accepted.
Okay.
Yeah, but if all the tail or more than half is cut, according to some of the ulama, it won't be accepted. But the emphasis, the consensus of jurists come on this category that I have mentioned before. It must not be one-eyed, it must not be terribly sick, it must not be bad limping, it must not be too thin. You understand? Otherwise, it will not be accepted.
I know if you want to find all these things in a ram, you have to go to the buffet zone tomorrow.
Yes.
To have one of those big rams, as they say now. Okay. One very important question I wanted to ask is we realize that during the Eid al-Fitr, that is the Korite, before going to the mosque to pray, people will give out this mood.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Zakat al-Fitr.
Yeah. Does the same thing applies here?
No. Zakat al-Fitr, that was a special...
Some will think that as far as Eid, any Eid, you have to give before you go.
Yeah, but that's lack of understanding. Probably they don't understand the essence of Zakat al-Fitr. Okay. Zakat al-Fitr is part of, mark the end of Ramadan. In other words, it's a special tax, that you give to completely end the act of fasting and what comes immediately after fasting, that is the Eid. And it purifies, it further purifies the soul and the body of the individual on that important day. And you call it, and in fact the terminology fitr, fitr means to break fast.
Okay.
So the special zakat that you give on the occasion of the breaking of the fast is what you call zakat al-fitr. Now here in the order Tubaski, the Tubaski for instance, in fact there is nothing like breaking fast. In fact if you look at the rules carefully, those that can afford, to buy ram, for them it is required it is recommended of them to start the day with fasting.
Okay.
They will not complete the whole day of fasting, but they will start the day with fasting. They will not eat, they will not drink until they come back from the prayer ground, and until the animal is slaughtered and skinned, then they take part of the liver and break their fast with it. Unlike Ramadan, end of Ramadan, the tradition is, the sunnah is that the earlier you eat, the better.
Okay.
Well, like if we say today is Eid al-Fitr, the earlier you eat, the better.
But Eid al-Adha,
the later you eat is better, provided that you don't go beyond the
limited time.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Ustaz, this is also a moment where we realize what we call extravagance.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the side of some. So to put it.
Yeah.
Because you see some people will buy rounds for $15,000.
Or $20,000.
Or $20,000.
Yeah.
When, of course, you know crystal clear that could buy 4 rams for 4 different people.
Yeah, but six sometimes.
Sometimes 6.
Yeah.
Now, what point do you think can someone make out of this?
According to ulama of Islam, The minimum is, if it is ram, 1 year. The one which is up to 1 year old. In fact, some say the